Here's left. Pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11.109. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Top Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunsinger at Thunder Chess. We are part of the Believe Network, and this podcast is brought to you by the good folks at FanDuel Sportsbook. I am joined by my friend, my co-host, my compatriot, my compadre, the Hondro, Alejandro Alex Roy. What up, Alex?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Got to go see a feel-good story yesterday, especially for somebody who has been affected by the scourge that we call cancer. And so it's good to see Topic get back there. And I was actually at the game. I just happened to be at that game for a reason other than just covering it. Like, I happened to be there because I was, on a field trip with some students, and so luckily it happened to be the game where he, made his debut with the blue and pretty much is on the path to recovery from testicular cancer. So, yeah, that was awesome to see. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And as you said, we'll jump into that here in a little bit. I want to talk about what's most current in terms of the Thunder, most fresh on our mind. Last night we stayed up very late to watch the Oklahoma City Thunder play the Los Angeles Lakers, and for many parts of that game, the Thunder had control of it. They had a pretty good lead, and it felt like it was just slowly slipping away in the second half, starting in the third quarter and then the fourth quarter. For reasons we'll talk about, it didn't really feel like the Thunder had control of this game until it hit clutch time, until it hit the last 4 minutes of that game, and it felt like the Thunder won decisively. They were either getting stops or they were making it difficult, forcing a tough shot, and the Lakers, to their credit, was making a tough shot. But anytime the Lakers would make a shot, we went down the other end and answered. And it was Dub, who obviously made the big shot, hit the free throws, but it was also Chet, it was Kaysen, it was Jay Will, it was Caruso. The whole team stepped up in a huge way, really over to the past 3 games in Shai's absence. So very, obviously the other 2 games, we wasn't able to pull out the W, but we was able to pull out the W against the Lakers last night. So back in the win column again. We didn't get that 3-game losing streak the first time since April 2024. So that is awesome. But let's talk about it, Alex. Single large item. Let's kick it off, man. What do you want to talk about in this game specifically?
It's almost like the Thunder look pretty good whenever they have at least one ball handler out there.
It helps.
It really does help, So, Dub came back. I was a little bit leery that he came back. I'm like, why don't you just hold him out a couple more games until the All-Star break is over with and give him that much extra time. And I don't think this was a rush back because Dub did look good. He did look good, physically out there. It wasn't anything like he was limping around or looking like, Aaron Gordon Game 7. He did fine, and more than likely he's not on the injury report, so it's not like anything like he's going to have to sit out or anything. So, hey, he was ready to go. Glad to have him back. We definitely needed a ball handler out there because everybody else on this team is finishers, and we have, Shai, AJ, and Dub. And so we've missed Dub for most of the season, so it was good to have him out there, and especially in this type of situation where you have him out there all by himself. And I think that's what you saw in the fourth quarter is you saw a little bit of fourth quarter Dub, with the mid-range, assassin game. But I think you also saw the ability to be able to take that ball and get to his spots, which is what is severely lacking on this team whenever you're missing all 3 of your ball handlers. And so him being out there, him being able to get to his spots, especially in the fourth quarter, it really helped to kind of calm the waters a little bit in that fourth quarter and just, coaxed us to victory there. Our defense took over there late in the fourth quarter. The Lakers struggled, especially in the middle part of that fourth quarter all the way to the end of the game. Really struggled to get any type of flow offensively. The physicality got to them a little bit. And, in the end, the defense plus the ability for Dub to get to his spots ended up being the formula that we needed to secure the victory in this game.
Yeah, and like you were saying about how he looked like more like himself. He talked about after the game how this new injury, I don't remember what it was. It was a hamstring strain, wasn't it?
Hamstring, yeah.
Yeah. So the hamstring strain, while he was recovering from that, it gave his wrist time to recover even more.
Mm-hmm.
And his wrist actually feels the best it has. So that's great going forward. I will say that it kind of seemed like early on in the game he didn't fully trust it, because every time he got to the rim, he would make a good move, he would power through, he would get all the way to the rim, and motherfucker would switch hands every time. I'm like, dude, just go straight up.
Yeah.
He kept trying to make it too tricky. He would either get blocked, it would make it easier to get a contest, or he would just straight up miss. And I literally tweeted out, I was like, I wish Dub would stop switching hands, just go straight up. I'm like, as I hit send, he just rose up on Austin Reeves in transition and dunked the ball. I'm like, yes, like that, do that. And it felt like, obviously, he kind of struggled with his shot, even still, throughout the rest of the first three quarters, even after that dunk. But it felt like that was kind of like an exhale. Okay, I'm kind of back. I understand, I can do this. I can, be aggressive. I can drive the lane. And, to his credit, he had some good finishes, even in his first three quarters when he struggled. But in the fourth quarter, like I said, a lot of guys stepped up. And maybe that's just what it is. I see a lot of talk about, obviously Dub and Chet are max players, and we'll talk about Chet's performance there in a little bit too. They're max players, and I've seen a lot of people having frustrations about neither one of them really being able to scale up like other players are whenever their star players out. Like Jamal Murray was able to do when Jokic is out. Jaylen Brown's been able to do when Jason Tatum's out, for instance. Different guys, in that position, how they haven't been able to scale up like fans would expect. But I really think that it's not, okay, Shai's out, it's the Dub show. It feels like if Shai is out, it takes a village approach. Shai has so much command of the offense, so much burden, so much responsibility of the offense. And if that hasn't been apparent in these last three games that he's been out, you're just not paying attention, just how much he does for this offense. But in order for us to win, in order for us to be close in these games with Shai out, it takes everybody. It can't just be Dub, getting 23 points. It takes Isaiah Joe hitting 5 threes. It takes Caruso pulling out one of the best offensive games that we've seen from him in the past two seasons. One of the best offensive games Caruso's had in a Thunder uniform. It takes Kaysen kind of taking a leap as a scorer, but also a ball handler and a distributor. We'll talk about him a little bit. It takes all these guys stepping up in certain areas to fill the void of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And again, going back into that fourth quarter, if you look at the stats, Shai should be the clutch player of the year, bar none. People are going to say Anthony Edwards because the percentage that he has. People are going to say Cade because all the games that the Pistons have played in the clutch and the record in the clutch. But if you're looking at the amount of points Shai has in clutch, I think that it's 6.7 points per game in the clutch, which would be a record, the most ever in the clutch. But that's a big hole to fill, and Jalen Williams is not just going to be able to fill it himself. It's going to take everybody. But like I said, Dub, he got to his spots, he was able to get to the line, and when it came down to it, we'll talk about this as we go on. There was a theme in that fourth quarter, attacking a certain number 15 in purple, and
former OU Sooner.
Yeah, he was able to get the matchup that he wanted, and he was able to attack and finish over him, and make the plays down the stretch to get us the W. So yeah, shout out Dub.
I do kind of want to piggyback off of what you're saying, and it's completely true. It's you do see a lot of talk on Twitter, on social media about Dub and Chet not necessarily being the type of player that SGA is, and it's just and while earning that max extension, but it's this is the way the NBA works. You have to give if you have a guy on a rookie scale contract that becomes an all-star and an all NBA player and an all defensive team member, you have to max that player out.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing, even though J-Dub is not necessarily scaling up like we thought he would in his, fifth season, this guy is still 23 years old. He is still going to get better. This has been an injury-ridden season. This is one of those seasons where you look at the regular season and you just kind of toss it out because you're just trying to get this guy to the playoffs, get him enough reps to feel comfortable as he goes into the playoffs, and then hope that in the playoffs he performs, to a standard to where they can win a championship. Same thing with Chet. Chet is another guy that even though in his first 4 seasons he did not get, or his first, this is his 4th year, even though in his first 4 seasons he didn't get necessarily an all-star bid or an all-NBA bid or anything like that, he's working towards that. And that when he's healthy, he's one of the best defensive presences in the game. He has a developing offensive game that works and that is suited for your offense as far as being a 5 that can, go outside the paint and stretch the floor. And so you have to pay these guys because what are you going to do? You're going to put them in the market and see if anybody else is going to do it. You're going to destroy. Number one, you're going to destroy your the possibility of actually keeping those guys. But number 2, you're going to destroy the camaraderie and the rapport that you've built with those types of players because they deserve a max contract. Like those type of players deserve max contracts. And so, SGA is one of a kind. Jokic is one of a kind. Luka is one of a kind as far as being an offensive player. But those are the type of players that get those designated player maxes, And so you cannot compare those players to you can't compare the top 3 or 4 to the next 15 players down there. There's a reason why there's a tier, and those top 4, probably including Giannis and things like that, are up there in that tier. And so, yeah, man, and it's a problem that every team has. If you lose your best player, guess what? You're going to struggle a little bit. And those guys that are more complementary pieces, even if they're all-stars, even if they're, all NBA players, if they don't have their number 1 next to them, it makes their game a lot more difficult and it looks a lot different. You saw that with Cade. Cade had 2 injury-riddled seasons. The Pistons looked horrible. He finally has a season where he's completely healthy and he's starting to put it all together. And what do they have? They're on track to have the best record in the NBA here. And so, yes, it doesn't look quite as pretty as it does whenever SGA is out there. But then again, these are the games where you develop habits, you develop, you take in lessons and you learn things about yourself that you can apply into the playoffs. And if SGA suffers a sprained ankle and he's bummed, his ankle is bummy for about a game and a half, 2 games, then you can kind of survive off of that because you've had data, you've had experiences dealing with this type of stuff. So, I see those narratives and I'm just like this isn't 2K.
Yeah, and I would go as far to say even like this season with Shea in the lineup, out of the lineup, it doesn't really matter. Like Chet's kind of have like an up and down in terms of like the stats, like the points. And I would go as far to say I don't think that Chet's ever going to be like the consistent like 20 and 10 guy. I feel like he's a very different type of player than this guy because he doesn't do as much playmaking. He's not as perimeter defensive oriented, but in terms of his role and what he provides on the defensive side of the ball and why he deserves a max contract, like he reminds me in different like of Draymond Green. Like, Draymond Green was never a guy that was going to go put up like 20, 30 points in the game. Like, every now and then, like he could, and Chet, every now and then he'll put up like 20, 25 points in the game. He'll hit a bunch of threes. Last night, like he only had 2 assists, but they were like really nice assists out of the triple threat inside. The defense collapsed on to him, and I think he kicked out one to Kaysen. I think he kicked out the other to Lou Dort, and like they were really good assists, like high processing feel. I feel like, obviously he's more of a rim protector than a perimeter defender like Draymond. He doesn't do as much creation as Draymond does offensively, but he's a better shooter than Draymond. Like he's like the 3rd piece in this core, just like Draymond was with the Steph and Clay type thing. And back in the day when Draymond was a, like reigning like defensive player of the year guy, first team all defense. Like it didn't matter what he was putting out offensively. Like he earned that max contract with what he was able to do defensively and as a connector. And, you know, again, like I don't think Chet's ever going to be like a Draymond level connector, but he's earned his max contract by what he's able to do defensively because he's still, you know, one of the best defenders in the NBA. Like, I mean, we could look at FanDuel odds. I was looking at it. Wemby's back at top on Defensive Player of the Year, but Chet's right there with him at number 2. So, at least the second best defender in the NBA. But also, what he doesn't give you as a connector, he gives you as a floor spacer. He gives you more flexibility, more makes your offense more dynamic as a guy that can roll to the basket, that can finish tip slams, which he's been doing a lot here recently. A guy that can space the floor in the pick and pop. A guy that can, you know, go out to the corner and just, you know, catch spot up 3-pointers. And the guy that has starting to, you know, develop his attack into closeout game and, you know, getting to that bump midi, that turn around like over his right shoulder midi. Like he's still very much working on his game. He's still a young player. He's a guy that hasn't played like I think this is his 4th season. This is technically like his like second and a half season. Yeah, like he's missed a lot of time in the NBA, and obviously, like, you know, he's the max guy. We would love, you know, if Shea is out, for him to like step up and like just go in there and put up 25 points, 10 rebounds, like 4 blocks. Like that would be awesome. But that's never been the type of player Chet's been. Chet's always been a guy that does exactly what the team needs. Going back to Gonzaga, he didn't have gaudy numbers either. He didn't have like huge stats either. He was a guy that did everything the team needed to win in terms of defensively, floor spacing, and rebounding. Like, you know, just doing all the little things on the margin. And so
and playing off of, he played on a team with Suggs, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so playing off of Suggs, playing off of, who was the other big man that was next to him?
No, he didn't. He played AAU with Suggs. Yeah, Suggs. Yeah. Suggs was the reason he went to Gonzaga.
Timmy, Drew Timmy. So playing off of Drew Timmy, and like Drew Timmy, you know, he's not been great in the NBA. You know, he hasn't developed a niche in the NBA, but in college, you know, he was reigning player. You know, was he reigning national player of the year? I think, yeah. And so playing off of him, you know, having that, being the guy that takes care of the other things, because Drew Timmy, the reason he's not in the NBA is because, or the reason he's not playing a lot in the NBA is because defensively he's not great. And so being able to kind of, you know, take that part of the game and allow Timmy to focus more on the offensive end. That's what he does on this team. You know, he anchors the defense. He allows Shea and Dub to get into the lane because he's not there stuffing it. He's outside, you know, he's spacing the floor. And so the thing is, like, when we look at stats and we look at, you know, replacement player, like if you replace him if you replace him just with Hartenstein, like the offense still performs good, but there is a facet of that to where if you have a great defensive team on the other end, they're going to go ahead and scheme for that pretty easily, as far as like just dropping their big and just keeping their big in the lane, or keeping somebody in the lane, allowing somebody to be a rover, that type of stuff. And so having Chet out there adds that other dynamic piece to that offense that allows it to flow the way it does. And so, you know, yeah, they're all max players in my opinion. Like you have to max them out in order to keep them. During this first extension, you hope that their game continues to develop and it continues to flourish and it continues to adapt to whatever's out there. And the player in year 8, year 9 is a lot better than the player at year 4. And so maybe you give him another max extension, but that's where you kind of decide, hey, is this a guy that we're going to trade because he still has value, but he's going to be very expensive? Or is this a guy that we're going to extend and keep this run going? And so, you know, we're still 5 years from that. These guys haven't even started getting their max contract yet.
And you know, I will say, like, you know, talking about like stepping up, like, you know, his stats weren't anything crazy last night. 13, 10, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, shot 5 of 10, like, you know, made 50% of his shots, made 50% of his threes, 1 out of 2, hit both of his free throws. And he had 4 points in the last 7 minutes of the game. man, made both
Huge
the shots.
offensive rebound.
Yeah.
Huge offensive rebound.
Huge offensive rebound, and then who did he go after in the post? Number 15 in purple.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and who was right there whenever he got that offensive rebound? Number 15 in purple. Like,
Yeah.
there was a theme late in the game of just absolutely attacking Reeves. It was Dub, it was Chet, and it was the next guy I want to talk about, and the guy that has been really impressing me the last few games, like going back to Denver whenever he just had his absolute onslaught, but it feels like he does a little bit of something different every game. It's Casey Wallace, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier, but in the last 4 games, Casey Wallace has 20 assists to 6 turnovers, which is just a shade under 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio. And this is a guy's like our 5th ball handler. Like, it goes Shea, Dub. It might go Shea, AJ, then Dub. And then, I mean, it kind of looks like Caruso might be our 4th ball handler at this point. Like, we're talking about our 5th option ball handler, or Ihart. That was the other guy I was thinking of. And he's got a 4-to-1 assist to ratio, or assist to turnover ratio on like pretty high volume. Like, he had 6 assists, 4 assists, 5 assists, 5 assists in these games. And like, he's not putting up a double-double or anything like that, but like, he's protecting the ball and he's spreading the ball out and he's getting his teammates involved. But the thing that's been most impressive for me is his development as a slasher this year, both on the ball and off the ball. I really feel like against the Rockets, like, we utilized him off the ball in such a way that I kind of thought is like game breaking, just because, we see and we've seen in the past couple of games, Isaiah Joe moving off ball, with the backdoor cuts, Isaiah Hartenstein just putting a pocket pass, leading to dunks over LeBron and stuff. We've seen Aaron Wiggins over the years, like, kind of make his calling card off of like, basket cuts off the back door. Casey Wallace is shiftier than both of those guys. Casey Wallace has a longer wingspan than both of those guys. Mm-hmm. So like, if you put him in those same situations, it's easier to get the ball to him, but it almost feels foolproof. It's like, why haven't we been doing this more often? And we didn't really see it as much against the Lakers. It was a lot more like on-ball scoring, again, going at Reeves there late in the game, kind of creating turnovers and like, typical Casey Wallace game. So that might have been something that Dagnall just kind of filed away, because I don't know about you. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, the Houston game was the first time that I really saw that utilized, and it felt like we went to it like 3 or 4 times, and it was like really successful. And we did not see much of it in the Lakers game. So that could be something that Dagnall kind of filed away.
So just one of the things that whenever you look at a player develop throughout the season, and then you kind of go back and you remember things that were said, like maybe during media day. So when they were asking Casey questions, and they were talking to him about, or it was Caruso. It was Caruso. They asked Caruso about Casey Wallace, and he basically said that, they're starting to get him more in the film room with them to kind of understand tendencies, defensive tendencies, and understand things like that. Because up to that point, he had been doing everything just basically off of instincts, like just basically kind of like knowing how a player plays, knowing how a player moves, knowing what their go-to moves are, and then just kind of like defending that without necessarily, having a background on it or anything like that. And so, as this player has 3rd season now, gotten older, gotten more mature, knows how to now improve in the game of basketball. We look at it on the defensive end of the floor, but that's not to say that he's not also going to the film room and looking at the offensive end of the floor too. And he had a little, December, January kind of like swoon where, like, for some reason, as far as like handling the ball, he kind of became more hesitant. And he was turning the ball over. He was getting caught in traffic a lot. And so this feels like a situation where they went to the film room and they said, hey, this is what you were doing at the beginning of the season where you're a lot more successful. This is what you were doing here in this, December, January part where you haven't been quite as successful. What are the differences? What are the similarities? What are the things that we can take from this? And so I think these last couple games, it seems like he's being a lot more decisive. He is not necessarily like to me, Kaysen, and this happens to a lot of like guards that come into the NBA but aren't necessarily great ball handlers, is that they do one too many moves and they get caught up in their secondary move instead of just like going with that first move and like just getting past that first defender and then going from there. And so I think over these last couple games, what he's done is he's cut out that secondary, like keep going. He's just kind of like, full bore into that first move. He's getting past that first defender and, he's causing damage from there. So I think that, hopefully that's a situation where like he's kind of seen the coaches that sat down with him, maybe somebody like another ball handler, Shea, AJ, somebody else has said, hey, maybe you're doing this, maybe you're doing that. And he's just gotten better from that. Like we tend to look at this team and we're like, oh, they're championship players. These guys are all young. These guys are still all developing. These guys are still all learning different things to do and, having their skills catch up with maybe like what they're doing now. And like this feels like a situation where like he unlocked something, he saw something, and this is something that could help him out heading future into his career and heading future into this season. So that's what it definitely feels like.
Yeah, no, it's been great to see, and obviously his defense is still just crazy. Like in that 4-game span, averaging 3.3 steals a game, just absolute monster. He's the Cookie Monster for a reason.
Boogie.
The other two guys I wanted to kind of talk about, Isaiah Joe and Alex Caruso. I'm just kind of grouping them together for time's sake because we've gone almost 30 minutes talking about the Lakers game, and we have some other stuff to talk about. But
it was a fun game, man. It was a fun game. It got us off the schneid, and we looked good doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Caruso was phenomenal.
He was a demon.
17 points. The bald-headed demon had 17 points. Only had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, but 7 of 8 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep. And I don't know if you saw that crossover he had on Marcus Smart. It was late in the game. I'm gonna pull it up because I tweeted it out. I mean, dude, it was just like I was like, who is this guy? Like you don't see him making moves
he's moving different.
Mm-hmm. He really was. I'm like, I don't know if it was like being back in LA, going against LeBron. Like, it's definitely not the first time that they've played against each other. But like,
maybe being healthy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that helps out all the time. Here, let me. All right, I got it right here. Oh, I did not crop out my screen recording. That's annoying. All right, anyways.
And it's Joe.
Like, that's nasty, bro. And then the finish over Vanderbilt too, like in traffic, like that's pretty filthy, man. Like, Caruso was on one, and then Isaiah Joe.
That first half was Shea Magnifique.
I'd say 6 quarters of his like last 8, it was just like ridiculous. He had 21 points against the Rockets as well. 5-11 shooting, 3-6 from deep, and then. In the Lakers, in the first half, he had 16 points on, looks like 6 of 7 shooting, 4 or 5 from deep. And this is the kind of the thing that frustrated me. And it was also about another player that, we'll kind of get into after this is it felt like, and the numbers back it up, like our offense just skyrockets whenever Isaiah Joe and another certain player that used to play for the Philadelphia 76ers is on the court with us. Is on the court out there. And, obviously the first half happened. It was great. We had the barrage. Isaiah Joe was hot. McCains was hot. Like, the offense was popping. Like, the ball was moving. Like, we had people in a blender. It was great. Coming out of halftime, as we do in third quarters, like, I guess you need third quarter Shea out there to kind of, like, direct the ship. It was not happening. Our offense was sputtering. And, I know Daignault's pretty rigid with his rotations a lot of the times, but it really felt like we could have used at least one of Isaiah Joe or McCain out there in that third quarter when we were struggling for offense, because by the time he brought them back in the fourth quarter, they lost rhythm. Neither one of them made a single shot the rest of the game.
I think we were down by double digits by that point.
Yeah. I'm like, it's like, if you would have brought them in earlier, like, they still could have been in rhythm. Like, they really could have helped that offense. We wouldn't have been in the hole. We wouldn't have had to have those situations in the clutch at the end of the game if, you just make slight adjustments. But, we won. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm just saying, a little bit frustrating. Like, it could have been like a really, not even just a nice game for Isaiah Joe, but also for Jared McCain, who was a guy who's trying to, establish himself on this team and build up confidence. Like, you could really set him up for success. But with that being said, Alex, I mean, let's transition. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the new acquisition for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Jared McCain. We got 2 games under the belt so far. It was I'm not going to say it was a bad performance in the first game. I will say that, first off, props to everybody that was at the game who gave Jared McCain a standing ovation, to welcome him to OKC on part of the Thunder organization. It was really awesome to see. Like, I think that, that being on the national broadcast, like, that does wonders for, like, other players that may be considering coming to OKC, guys that are possibly going to be drafted for OKC. Like, that's awesome. I think it shell-shocked Jared McCain just a little bit because he had 2 quick turnovers and he got blew by Reed Sheppard like almost immediately, and they called a timeout. After that, that's when he kind of cooled down. I think that's when he got to his bump midi, and then of course he had the miss on the 3, and then he made the 3, and like it felt like he kind of started to settle down. Like you could see, post game, like he was smiling whenever he made that first 3-point, like kind of like the monkey off his back, and then. Against the Lakers last night, like it didn't take him no time. Like if you look at the real app, it said in 0 minutes, Jared McCain has 5 points because he again got to his midi, and then what I think Dolan was talking about it on the last podcast, how he can't wait to see this guy play with Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein did that pat
between the legs.
Yep, bounced between the legs. Jared McCain caught it in stride and knocked down the 3-pointer, and that was part of that barrage that we was talking about early on in the game with Isaiah Joe and Jared McCain on the floor. And so far, that's the only time Jared McCain's been playing is with Isaiah Joe on the floor. But the numbers when they are on the floor together are crazy. Now, granted, it is a small sample size,
2-game sample,
13 minutes sample size at that. But it's something that I'm going to be monitoring as the season goes on, especially as we continue to get ball handlers back, like AJ Mitchell and even Shea. So in 13 minutes of action with Jared McCain and Isaiah Joe on the floor together, the offensive rating is 146.2. Yeah, and the defensive rating is 84.6.
What?
And this is what's crazy.
Net rating of 60-something?
Yeah, net rating of 61.5. So
that is crazy.
And this is what was wild, because obviously whenever we traded for Jared McCain, like the buzzword is shooting. Like obviously, like that's the big thing that you're expecting. And I don't even think I realized that he had like the mid-range game that he has. I think that obviously that's something we've seen OKC utilize with Shea, Dub, and even AJ Mitchell. So that's something that that kind of as the team integrates him, into the rotation, into the offense, like, that's something that we can utilize, especially like with Isaiah Hartenstein giving screens and stuff like that. But man, defensively, except for that blow by on Reed Sheppard again, which I think he got shell shocked. I mean, I think McCain's been fine on defense. I think he's been competing. I think he's been, kind of working to get through screens. He's been working to stay with his man. He's not going to sleep, letting his man get loose off the ball. Like, I think he's doing an adequate job defensively. And if you're doing that, you're knocking down your shots. You're being a willing and able passer, like, moving the ball like we saw in the Lakers game whenever the ball was just like on a string for a couple possessions. Like, it just goes to show like how perfect of an acquisition this is for the Thunder, for the short term and the long term, because we already know, anytime anybody gets a chance to talk about this kid, like, he's a great guy. Like, he's a great kid. He's got a great kid, head on his shoulders. Like, we draft people, not players, and he seems like a great person. But also the way that he plays is the way we want to play it. We play fast. We make quick decisions with the basketball. We get the shot off quick. Like, and, Mark Daigneault, if you're going to want to be on the basketball court for the Oklahoma City Thunder, you got to compete on defense. And, 2 games in, man, against, like, top competition in the West, I'll say. Like, like 2 of the top 5 seeds in the West, he's competing on defense. So, shout out Jared McCain.
Yeah, shout out Jared McCain. Here's the thing. Like, the beautiful thing about this acquisition is that this guy's in his second year. Like, you put him in the Thunder system. You tell him, hey, go, in the offseason, go to the weight room, get a little bit stronger. We saw that with AJ, and they have a similar build. Get a little bit stronger. And so, like those Marcus Smart kind of pushed him on a midi and, went up with it. I think he got an and one on it. And it's just like those are the type of plays that, at this point in his career, big veterans, big veteran guards are going to go ahead and take advantage of them. And there's going to be plenty of them in the playoffs, and Anthony Edwards, anytime he sees Jared McCain on the floor, is going to be asking for that screen to get that matchup. And so these are the types of situations where you're going to wonder in the playoffs, is Jared McCain going to play a lot? But this is the beautiful thing about getting him now is that you allow him to grow in your system. You allow him to go through your off-season conditioning program and all that. And the player that we see next season, as long as he remains healthy, I'm very confident that he's going to be so much better within this team and within the construct of this team than he is now. Right now we're just throwing him out there and say, hey, play off of instinct. Don't play off of the system or anything like that, because you don't know that yet. You don't know the nuances of your teammates. Play off of instinct. And even with that, there are times where it's just like, oof, I see it. I see the vision. So yeah, man, I can't wait to see him out there with Shea, Isaiah Joe, giving Shea shooters like that, and just having a game where having that one game where Isaiah Joe goes 5 for 8, maybe Jared McCain goes 3 for 6, and it's just like a blowout, but you see it. You see the vision. That puts fear in other defenses' minds, especially heading into the playoffs, where you can have a game where a Jared McCain could win you a game by going 4 for 8, 4 for 9, and and for 3. And so yeah, man, it looks good. That Joe and McCain sounds like a presidential ticket. Yeah, but that McCain and Joe lineup data is crazy. That is something that you don't see that a lot in the NBA, but that is crazy. Because 13 minutes is not. It's a small sample size. Don't get me wrong, but it's not 30 seconds. It's not a minute. 13 minutes is a good sample size to start making some sort of decisions off of. So that's crazy.
And it's not only a small sample size; it's a criminally low sample size. So dang not let's get those numbers up, my guy. I will also say I think I accidentally cropped it out. No, it's right there. 3-point percentage in those lineups as well is 57.1%. I'm like, that's not just for Zay and McCain. That's anybody that's out there with them. That's the spacing that they provide. Their gravity.
Love it.
You get the ball to them and somebody's closing out. It's just another quick pass. You pass up a good shot for a great shot. So yeah, the possibilities are endless.
They are.
Did you see the nickname idea that I floated in the chat that somebody showed me on Twitter?
I saw it, yeah, but what was it again?
Let me just pull up the tweet here, because I want to give credit where it's due. This is from @LoneStarShay, SHAY. Said, from now on, I'm referring to this guy as Lightning McCain.
Yeah, I saw that. I like that.
It's so perfect, man. It rolls off the tongue, and somebody even said he's not fast though. It's no, bro, he's not fast. His shot is fast. Yeah. His release is fast. He gets point. He had 5 points before he was even on the court for a minute.
It's a short idea, baby.
It's like a strike. It's like a strike of lightning, man. He's nuts with it. But also, did you see the vlog? Did you see his vlog?
I didn't see the vlog, but I did see the little clips of it, him trying to get into the practice facility and Jay having to help him, and him saying that he loves Oklahoma City because when he walked into, I guess it was his hotel room or something like that, they had balloons in there. Yeah. I saw those little clips, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's something they do for any new player, because I remember that exact gold balloon setup whenever Hartenstein came. His wife posted it on Instagram or whatever, but. So obviously all that stuff was really cool. It was fun to get to see his parents' perspective, because they were on the trip with him, and his friend, whoever was recording everything when they were walking over to the arena, because they're staying at the Omni. He's walking over with his dad. He's like, "How we feeling, man?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm feeling great, man. We're playing for the best organization in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder. It couldn't be any better." And it fast forwards to they're in the arena watching Jerry McCain. This isn't the first time they've watched Jerry McCain in the NBA, but as soon as he checked in,
Got emotional.
the ovation started happening. They were bawling, man. Like they were so wholesome. Like the McCain family is so wholesome, and it's gonna be awesome to have them part of OKC.
This is where those pre-draft, interviews come into play, and you draft people, not players. Like they knew what they were getting when they brought him over here at this trade deadline.
Yeah, and I even floated to Dolan, and he kind of agreed with this as well. This is kind of my theory. Obviously the Thunder took Nikola Topic at 12, which we're getting ready to talk about next transition. And Jared McCain went to the Sixers at 16. I think the Thunder might have been targeting Jared McCain at 12, and Topic got to them at 12. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we can't pass on this guy. He was like the number one prospect before he got injured. And so it's like, yeah, like Jared McCain would have been nice, but like, we got to go with the potential of this guy.
Pick valuation. That's the name of the game right there.
Yeah. So, in the end, Presti got his guy, and, hopefully he can have his cake and eat it too, because now it looks like Nikola Topic, this guy has overcome so much, because obviously he tore his ACL prior to the draft, got drafted to the Thunder. It was understood it was going to be like a slow burn. He was going to go ahead and miss the whole season.
Redshirt freshman.
Yeah, redshirt freshman for him. He kind of attacked the offseason. We got to see glimpses in the summer league. There were some high points and there was obviously some low points, but enough to get excited about. And shortly before the season started, he was ruled out, and we didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah, he played one preseason game. And then all of a sudden we hear that he's out with testicular surgery was the beginning of it. And it's like, whenever you hear something like that, you go back and you try to watch the game, or you try to put it on the Twitter search bar, Topic injury or whatever, to see if anything pops up. But like nothing ever popped up to where like he got hit in the nuts, So, you think about it, testicular surgery, like a torsion, like, the testicle twisted on itself. And so, Manu Ginobili had that one time, had to have surgery. And so, you were thinking about that, and all of a sudden, like, you're like, you don't hear anything for about a week and a half, and all of a sudden we get the news that it was testicular cancer.
Yeah, and sounds like, they was able to catch it quick enough, for them to, kind of come up with an aggressive plan to attack it. I think Daignault said that he went through 3 rounds of chemotherapy. Obviously, he lost all his hair, but it felt like kind of no time. He was back out there on the court, at least, like getting shots up, trying to get back into conditioning shape. And, over the last month, we've seen him, in the pregame warmups, kind of getting up and shoot around. Yeah. And now, we got the notification, 3 days ago, that he was being assigned to the Blue. And that is a signal for a ramp up. Nikola Topic, Jason Tatum ramping up in the G League at the same time.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he had his debut last night. And Alex, you were there. Like, what we see?
Yeah, man. Like I had, so number one, I had no idea that he was coming back in that game. It just so happens that we had a school field trip up there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just so happens that we had a school field trip. We took some of the pre-nursing students up there. And the Blue, they had like a sports career symposium at the beginning of the day. So around noon, 1 o'clock, they had like a little symposium, a little questionnaire thing. And it was real cool because we were in the arena. They had like, 5 chairs out there in the middle of the floor, and they were talking, asking questions and whatever. And so great, having a great time. We know that we're going to watch a Blue game. It's actually my first Blue game that I've ever been to, because even though, they've been here so long, they usually have games like usually in the afternoon. So I have 2 jobs. I'm usually working, or, it's just like, I'm not going to go out of my way to go to a Blue game when I go to Thunder games type thing, And so, so yeah, man. So, we had the symposium, we go to lunch / dinner. We have that, and then we go back to the arena. But while I'm going back to the arena, I get the notification that he's going to be playing in this game, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, hell yeah! Like of all the Blue games to go to for your first time, this is the game that I go to. So as soon as I heard that, I spoke to my people, and I was like, hey, I'm going to try to do something. Do you guys mind? They're like, nah, go ahead. The kids are all contained here watching the game. So they're all, it's not like we're in the mall or anything. So I texted Matt, the the communications guy for the Thunder. I was like, hey, can you get me a single game pass for the Blue? So he went ahead and got with the Blue communication guy. They got with me. So they got me a little pass. So I got a single game pass.
Nice.
I sat down in the media area. I was there with Joe Masato. I was there with Rylan Stiles, Clemente, Derek Parker. I was down there with them because they're, Rylan and Derek, they're real big into the Blue, and they cover the Blue. And so we were down there, guys from News 9 were there, and they're like, what are you doing here for a Blue game? They're like, what we're doing here, what we're here for. But yeah, man, came out there, Topic came out, started warming up, looked like Topic. He got into the game, man, and it's just the guy finds the open man every time. Whether it's a slip screen, whether it's a back screen, whether it's it's cross court, he finds his guy every time. He literally went out there 16 minutes, he had 7 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists, I think 1 turnover. That's what he does. Tonight, they did a back-to-back. He played tonight. Tonight he had 22 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. Whenever you see that, you're like, that's an NBA player right there on the court in the G League. He's an NBA player. He has an NBA skill. He has to work on things. He has to get, the one thing that I did notice is defensively, he is going to struggle a little bit. He has to get used to the speed of the game, and guard positions are usually the quickest positions. And so he's going to have to, kind of shape up on that, get in shape, get into rhythm. But that's going to take time. And that would have taken time anyway, because this is his rookie year, But I really liked what I saw out there. Him and Barnhizer have a pretty good chemistry. He came in there in the third quarter, and it was 3 straight assists to Barnhizer, just finding him on cuts, finding him on slip screens. And so, yeah, I'm excited. You want to talk about not having ball handlers? If you're able to literally get back your 3 main ball handlers, and then also let's include a bonus trade and get Topic in here too, and he can take care of the blowout games, take care of some second quarter and late third quarter type situations where you maybe need a rest here or there. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great, and 100% so happy for the kid. I'm glad that he beat cancer. I hope it never comes back and affects his life. And just so happy to see him out there. What awaits him? I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that I'm truly happy for this part of his life and this part that he was able to get over it, and he's back out there on the floor. AJ Mitchell was out there cheering him on. He was out there with his family. So that was a beautiful scene to see. And it was just good, man. It was good to see that. Shout out Barnhizer, hitting the game winner in overtime to give Topic a W in his first game with the Blue. And shout out, birthday boy Chris Youngblood out there, recently re-signed by the Blue, and he went out there and put in work also with 25 points. So it was cool, man. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this also. I'm going to champion the Blue a little bit. If you've never been to a game, number one, closer access. You get to sit closer to the floor. Number two, they may not be the top 1%, but they're definitely in the top 5 to 10% of the world. You're still seeing very skillful basketball out there. These guys can shoot. These guys can jump. These guys are athletic. These guys can handle the ball. And these guys are all fighting for a dream, which is something that sometimes you don't see a lot of in the NBA when the guys have already gotten there. But these guys are all fighting for a dream. And so the gameplay is good. It may be a little bit messy at times, but it's good. It's fast. It's fun. And so it's like the No Ceilings. What's that? What's their draft book that you talk about?
Oh, it's free. It's fun. It's freaking informative.
Freaking informative. Yeah, man. It was a good experience. So if you're able to get out there, go ahead and grab yourself a couple $10 seats to the Blue, and you'll probably sit close enough to see a lot of the action, to hear a lot of the action. That was fun to hear. Oh, come on, oh, that's off, or just the trash talking that goes on out there. Good experience, and it was great to see Topic in that experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I saw a few of the highlights and obviously his passing pops, and I haven't got to see full game tape or anything like that, but I think he's shooting 5 of 8 from 3 in his past 2 games. So that's a fun development. That was one of the shooting and the defense was 2 of the things that people would highlight as the biggest weaknesses coming into the draft. And Obviously, defense I think is still like a work in progress. Obviously, doesn't help. He has to like build back up his conditioning, but feels like he's been in the lab. Maybe he's been in the lab with Chip because that 3-point shot's looking nice.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was good. And I'm curious to see what the team does with him. Like I'm pretty sure they're gonna treat him like they treated AJ at the end of the season last year whenever he came back from his toe injury. You give him a couple games here and there, near the end of the season, whenever you're sitting out a lot of your starters, he's going to get like 20 to 30-minute games out there. But it is going to be fun to see what he can provide for the Thunder.
Yep, absolutely. All right, man, we're going to transition to a little bit of All-Star talk to end the podcast, in a little fun note because, the All-Star break is approaching. I will go ahead and say, All-Star break, we are going to reserve All-Star break. So this will be our last podcast until the Thunder play again next Friday against the Brooklyn Nets. Much needed break for the Thunder, to rest up, much needed break for us as well, because we are gearing up for a big trip to Oklahoma City for a meetup. And I just got to say, because a few people have asked me, I know I said that the whole family was going to be out there. I know I said that, Chelsea and Nova was going to be out there this year. That was absolutely the plan, but something came up. Nova's nurse is not able to come out this year. So just give me and my boys again, me, Slade, and AJ. So I'm sorry to disappoint you. You're just stuck with us, but, we definitely plan and hope to have Nova and Chelsea in the future. It's just, didn't work out this year. But, tickets are sold out for that event, I will say, but we are going to have a couple to give away. Now, this isn't like, floor seats or like lower arena, like $90 value, like, in the past, like, you're going to be up arena just like we are, like we're going to be right there with you guys, but it's free tickets. And this is a sold out event in which, you can go down to the court, group photo, half court shot, try to win a basketball signed by the NBA World Champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So you have a chance for that. Keep an eye out. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at OKC-Thunder. Turn the notifications on so you do not miss out, like so many of you did whenever the tickets went live. So that's my spiel. Let's go to a break, and we're going to talk about NBA All-Star Weekend. All right, Alex. As you know, man, we are sponsored by FanDuel, and one of the funnest things about FanDuel and NBA All-Star Weekend is you can bet on the All-Star events, Alex.
Oh man, that is.
So this is fun. They obviously don't
That's
have
crazy.
Any of the like celebrity stuff, but in terms of like, so you can bet on 3-point shootout winner. You can bet on how Yep.
Cowards, NBA cowards. Isaiah Joe should have been in that. Putting Dame Lillard in there, like that player has not played at all this season because he's injured. And he's out there shooting threes. Like, come on now, man.
Yeah, Dame Lillard and Bobby Portis were like two choices. It's like,
yeah, they were.
I think Isaiah Joe obviously deserves to be in the 3-point shootout, but I don't know that they'll ever put him in it just because like it feels like they're trying to make it a star event as Bobby Portis is in there. But that's like my one hang up is Bobby Portis, but he is shooting like 45% from three.
He is. But here's my thing: if you want to make it a star event, then why are you making it the first event? Like if the pendulum has slowly swung towards the 3-point contest being a lot more exciting than the slam dunk competition, you should move that to the end of the event, to the end of the night, and maybe put the slam dunk contest like in the middle or at the beginning. Like it just, to me, if you're going to put stars in it and you're going to focus on that, then just go ahead and make that, let that be the last event of the night.
Dude, I didn't realize is this right? Like how early they're starting All-Star Weekend? This is Saturday at 2:10 p.m. is when the Shooting Stars contest starts.
Damn.
That can't be right. Man, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know they usually have like, little interviews and, they have like content stuff.
Like coverage starts.
Yeah, exactly. The first couple hours, and then usually around 7:00 is when it starts. But I don't know. Maybe the complaint has been that it goes on too long.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Saturday night. I don't understand why anybody would say that, but hey, whatever.
Nah, it'll be interesting. So, all right. So here's the deal. So on All-Star Saturday night, obviously you have the Shooting Stars competition, which is one of the only things that the Thunder players will have representation in this year.
Shit.
Yeah. So this is actually really fun. Chet is going to be on a team with Rip Hamilton and Scotty Barnes going against Cat, Jalen Brunson, Allen Houston. Another team of Con Knipple, Corey Maggette, Jalen Johnson, and another team of Dylan Harper, Ron Harper Jr., and Ron Harper Sr. That's pretty cool. I just got to say, I hope that Scotty Barnes hugs Chet whenever they're announcing the names, like he did Tyrese Maxey a couple years ago. It would just make me so happy. But Alex, you can actually bet on who's going to win the Shooting Stars competition.
That's some degenerate stuff right there.
Let me see here. So Chet is Team All-Star. There's Team Knicks. There's Team Cameron, which that's former Duke players, and Team Harper, obviously. So which team do you think is favored?
I would probably say it's a skills competition. I'm going to say Team Harper.
Yeah, so they completely done away with the skills challenge. This is just a shooting, just the Shooting Stars, where there's like multiple spots on the floor and you have to like shoot it in sequence or whatever. Harper's actually the long shot. They're at plus 310. Yeah, the favorite is the Knicks at plus 210.
I can see that. Brunson, Cat, and Allen Houston. You said, yeah, If it's shooting. Give me. So I thought it was still the competition where like you have to, bounce past the ball into like the thing. You have to. Oh, okay. So
yeah, they unfortunately have done away with the skills challenge.
You know who killed that?
Who's that? Oh yeah, Wemby. Yeah, they broke the system, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the simple fact that Chet's teamed up with Scotty Barnes probably doesn't bode well for the.
No, not for Shooting Stars.
Who's your pick for the Shooting Stars, Alex?
Give me the Knicks.
Oh, okay, going with the favorite. Yeah. Boring, but all right.
Yeah.
All right, going into the 3-point contest. Now, this is cool because you can pick the winner outright, but you can also, there's over-unders for round one score for each player. So let's see here. I'm looking at all the round one scores. All right, who do you think has the highest round one over-under?
I mean, while I talk crap, I did talk crap about him. I do think it's Dame Lillard. I mean, he's out here with the freshest legs possible, and you kind of need that in the 3-point contest, especially when you get to the last rack. So give me Dame.
He is tied for first. Can you guess who the person he is tied with between Jamal Murray, Tyrese Maxey, Con Knipple, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Norm Powell, and Bobby Portis?
Con Nipples.
Con Knipple is correct, man. You're on a roll. So their line is at 24.5 over under for round one score.
I can see that.
You gonna go over on Con Knipple round one score or Dan Lower round one score?
I'm gonna go with Con, man. Like he's impressed me a lot. He's this generation's Klay Thompson, I think. So let's go with Con.
All right. Do you have a pick for the winner?
I'm gonna say Con Knipple. I'm just gonna go with him.
Okay,
go with the rookie. I'm gonna go with the rookie, and I think he's gonna do like the Larry Bird on the last shot. Just hold his hand out. You're a little bit too young for that, but
yeah, it'd be crazy. Oh wait, no, so you can actually do qualify for the final as well, and you could pick up to 3 people on that final. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Con Knipple is the favorite to win at plus 380.
Is Norman Powell in this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so give me Con, give me Norm Powell, hometown boy. And then not hometown boy, but he used to play for the Clippers. And then give me,
Give
me Devin Booker.
Con, Devin Booker, and Norm. Won't let me do all three of them for some reason. It lied to me, but
because it knows those are the three.
it knows, yeah.
That house always wins.
Yeah, I mean, Concanipple is actually like he's the favorite to qualify, favorite to win. Yeah, he's minus 115 to qualify. So, all right, now the dunk contest, Alex. This is where it gets.
I don't
grim.
care. Jackson Hayes. I don't care.
I will say, Jace Richardson is the long shot at plus 350. This guy's Jason Richardson's kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably got genetic hops.
I'm saying, and he's got insight from his dad there. So I like Jace Richardson as an option there. But also, yeah, so I mean, if you combine those three things, Team Knicks, Concanipple to qualify, Norm Powell to qualify, that's plus 1754 odds. So, Alex, you put $10 on that. What can you win?
$174.50.
$175.46. But yeah,
that one too,
yeah. So that is something that you can do on FanDuel. You can make your own parlay. You can tell us. You can do whatever you want. You could also, obviously bet on the games that are currently being played leading up to All-Star Weekend. But those are options for you. And then they also have NBA All-Star Game odds. You can pick the spread on each game. U.S. Stars versus Stripes, Stars versus World, Stripes versus World. I'm trying to see. So the biggest spread is the Stripes are favored over the Stars by 2.5, and the World is favored over Stars by 2.5. So what I'm seeing is they don't have much faith in Stars.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Is that the team with Chet?
That would be very unfortunate, but I think it is. I'm trying to find it.
I think the problem with them is that they have too many big men. They have him. They have Jalen Duren. Is Duren playing still, or is he hurt?
He's suspended. I don't know if he's hurt, but
yeah,
that was wild.
That was fun.
Yeah, no.
That felt very Malicey in the Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, it doesn't say.
Yeah. So AJ Mitchell. Oh, we're not talking about All-Star Game yet, are we? We're still just being degenerates, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of bleeded into it. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, Shea got replaced by Alperen Şengün.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, AJ Mitchell, as you were mentioning, got ruled out for the Rising Stars game today and was replaced by Zachary Risacher, which is really funny because AJ Mitchell was picked 38 in the same draft that Zachary Risacher went pick 1.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But
hey,
yeah.
so I will say this. So let me. Oh yeah, it is him. So yesterday, there's a guy that played for the Sioux Falls Sky Force by the name of Kashad Johnson, and he was just dunking everything, like powerful dunks too. And I just saw that he is that fourth guy in the dunk contest.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Kashad.
Plus 320. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him because he is a beast. He's a monster.
Yeah. Jesus, I'm sticking with Jace, but I mean, I'm not passionate about this dunk contest. Bring back Matt McClung, in my opinion. God dang. But yeah, Chet is actually on the Stars team, which I don't know why they're hating on the Stars team. The Stars team has Cade, Ant, Devin Booker,
that's
Scotty
a damn
Barnes,
good team.
Jalen Johnson,
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, Chet and Duren. The other team just has like vets. Like Curry's not even playing now, so it's KD, Ingram, LeBron, Kawhi, Mitchell, Norm Powell, Brunson, Jaylen Brown. Like I think the Stars could low key win it all, especially now that Shea's out. Yeah, because the World team. Yeah,
I'm gonna put my money on the Stars.
Okay, let me see what they are. The odds are for them to win. They are the long shot at plus 200.
Put me down.
There you go.
Put my imaginary money down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I live in Oklahoma, so I can't bet.
And Alex, the event that everybody wants to know. Well, where did it go? I literally just had it up. Oh my God. All right, well, This is phenomenal.
You better not say it. You better not say a celebrity game.
The celebrity game, baby. Give me your MVP between Jita Bandy, Shamsharanya, Taco Fall, Rome Flynn, Keegan Michael Key, Jeremy Lin, Rick Schnall, Dylan Wang, Amon St. Brown. I believe that's Kafu, Glorilla, and on the other side, Badshaw, Cody.
Oh, you're gonna go through an entire list on the bad side too?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go Taco Fall. I'm just gonna go Taco Fall. Just give me the guy who has a little bit of NBA experience.
The world needs a Taco Fall MVP.
Yes.
Oh, hey, I will say, Jason Williams, White Chocolate, is apparently playing in this game. This guy just can't keep our player's name out of his mouth. Did you see what he said about Jeremy?
Oh, I saw that, man. Like, what is your deal? If I come out the shower and this motherfucker is playing, is doing a TikTok dance, like, we got problems. Like,
it's like, brother, half
old
our roster.
man. Yeah, I know, old man. Go ahead and scream at some clouds. Like, calm down, bro.
It's like, what did Jason Williams ever do, like, in his career to be the authority on winning? Like, he was a flashy player. He was a fun basketball player. He's great for Twitter highlights. He wasn't like a winning player. Like, let's calm down.
Yeah, calm down, bro.
But yeah, like, somebody jumps out the shower and sees Jeremy McCain doing a TikTok dance on the Thunder, they're gonna jump in there and do the TikTok thing with him. Like, come on now. And we just won a title, so I think we're fine, man. I think we're fine. But yeah, no, it'll be fun to see. I like if I'm picking an MVP, I think Amon-Ra's sneaky. He's very short, but obviously a great athlete. Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, he's also on here.
He got some skills.
I think Cody Jones might be a sleeper pick for Do Perfect. Do Perfect is a guy that is a channel that me and the boys watch all the time. They actually have like a challenge video where they do a bunch of mini games and the winner gets to represent Do Perfect in the Celebrity All-Star game. Mm. Cody Jones is the tall guy, in case you didn't know. So he's like 6'5", I think. Yeah. So he's got a little bit of height, and I think he even played. He didn't play college basketball. He played, high school basketball, my intramural. So
as we all did.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cody Jones, bring it home, baby. Bring it home.
Hey,
so,
I have an intramural championship from Cameron University. Like, calm down there. Like,
hey, there you go.
Point guard, baby. Sassy.
Got to work. Hey, I saw the high cradle, man. I saw the high cradle.
Hey, it's there. It's there.
All right, man. Well, we went longer than I wanted to. I'm sleepy. That is all I have to say now. Hey, the Thunder are back in action tomorrow against the Suns, and then back-to-back against the Bucks. Alex, what's your prediction for those two games? Dub is back. AJ and Shea will not be back till the All-Star break, but everybody else seems to be intact. What are you thinking?
Let's go 2-0, baby.
2-0. I like it. Keep the vibes going into the All-Star break. Get healthy. Bring Shea and AJ back. Bring Topic back after All-Star break.
I'm very interested to see who we play in that Milwaukee game.
Yeah.
Like, that may literally be a game where, like, Chet sits out. You could see possibility of, like, Dub sitting out that game. So I say 2-0, but with a caveat that everybody plays. Like, if we have Dub out, if we have Chet out, it could be G League All-Stars right there, for that game. So we'll see. Maybe we do bring up Tope.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, now the next time you will hear from us, guys, is next Friday when we play the Brooklyn Nets, and hopefully we have our full squad back. But until then, hope you guys all enjoy the break. We will do our best to enjoy the break as well. Y'all have a great night. God bless, hoop when you can, and as always, Thunder up.
Thunder up.